What's happening, everybody? How we doing? How we doing? Thank you for tuning in to the Shayne and Dekes show, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we don't have the title officially at the top yet, but we will brand this thing. We told you guys we would. And I told you guys that we would do a season review, if you will. It's probably going to take us a few episodes, Shayne and I just realized, to talk about this entire season, right, buddy? Like, This is going to take some time because as disappointing as the initial loss against the Caps was, at the same time, it's bittersweet, but I think it's more sweet than bitter. And we're going to get into that, but we're going to really talk here about Habs exceeding expectations for the 24-25 season that just finished. It's crazy how fast it goes by. I said that in a post recently this week. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today, but we're going to try to squeeze it in and then save it for a few more episodes this month. So stay tuned, and we're going to get through as much as we can. But this is the main theme of today's show: is the Habs exceeding expectations, getting into the playoffs when most of us, except for like Max Lapierre, right? Maybe a couple others, thought the Canadiens weren't going to quite make it this year, right? Mm-hmm. So kudos to Max for that, because he got that prediction right.
I'll give another one. Eric Engels.
Eric Engels did officially wrote
it. Yep, he did. So
cheers to Eric. He knows both of us, actually. Eric's such a good guy, man.
Shout out to Eric.
Off the rink, that guy's genuine. Like I told you the story of me talking to him on the phone like 5-6 years ago, trying to pursue broadcasting. Him and Kyle Bukauskas. Yeah, those guys are salt of the earth. So kudos to Eric. And you work with Eric more than I do now. So, but all right. So Habs' future about to get even brighter, Shayne. And I say this with faith because we don't know who the horses are yet. But we know from this playoff run that Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton saw what we saw, like Tony said on the show this week. And we need some help, right, if we're going to make another playoff run, because it's not a guarantee. It's just not a guarantee. Martin St. Louis nominated for the Jack Adams Award that, like, we all hoped he would. It is official now. He's been nominated for Coach of the Year, which is pretty special for Marty. Yep. We're going to talk about the Habs draft lottery scenarios. The draft is this Monday. It's only a couple days away. And the Canadiens have 2 first-round picks, and we're going to talk about how those first-round picks could be switched around a bit in the draft lottery itself, right, Shayne? So we're going to break that down. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Laval Rocket and their playoff run, because they are just at the beginning of a playoff run with the newly starting goaltender Jacob Fowler, who is 2-0, just got a shutout last night.
Come on, man.
Come on. And Habs needs next season. We're going to try to squeeze all this in somehow in 35 minutes. We're going to really try. We're going to try. We're already 3 minutes in and we haven't even talked about any of these things yet. So, Shayne, let's just take it from the top, right from the beginning here. The Canadiens exceeded expectations for most of us in the media and fans in terms of making the playoffs and accomplishing a bit more with those 5 bonus games they played against the Capitals. And where do you want to take this and just kind of run with it as far as the Canadiens really exceeding our expectations for the most part this season?
That's it. Well, I think we have to go back to, I guess, the unofficial start of the season, which is the golf tournament, right? When management and ownership and players talk for the first time in the summer and talk about what they want this season to look like and those famous expectations. And that's where we got the term "in the mix." It became annoying. Because that's all they said. They're like, we want to be in the mix. They just didn't want to commit to that P word, right? That famous P word, as Jeff Gorton says. But being in the mix essentially meant that they were going to play meaningful games, late in April. Well, early April. Early April, they were going to play meaningful games. Doesn't mean that they'll be in the playoffs. Just means that they'll have a chance to fight to be in the playoffs. And that is exactly what happened. Remember at the beginning of the season, I mean, they were, at one point, they were dead last in the league, right? Awful. And you and I went to a game against Vegas where they just got steamrolled.
In one period.
Exactly. It was not pretty. Like, they were never in it. You know what I mean? And throughout the season, sure, there's a few turning points, right? You can think of the trade for Alex Carrier. Shout out to him, by the way, because he was phenomenal this year. True warrior.
I got a picture of that guy.
Yeah. He's that. Listen, that was a big turning point. That's a great picture, though. That is a great picture.
I do have the one. I'm going to pull it up. Keep going. Keep going. I have Carrier. I have him.
Another turning point, right? We remember Kaden Primo was struggling with the Habs and then got set down for Jakub Dobeš. Dobeš gets a shutout against the Panthers in his first game. Then he wins against Colorado, I think. Right there, he is.
There's Carrier.
What a goal that was! What a goal!
The first goal in the Bell Center with a full Bell Center in 8 years.
Crazy
in the playoffs.
Crazy stuff. But there's a few turning points you can pinpoint that, like, okay, that's kind of where they got their groove. But I want to circle. I think the main focus here and the constant factor is the guy who was just nominated for the Jack Adams Trophy, Martin St. Louis. If you'll allow me to go on a little tangent here, because I got some things to say, Drew. I got some things to say, okay?
I want to hear them. Everybody wants to hear them.
Throughout the season and in the playoffs, this guy got so much flack. Oh, you should have done this. You should have put him in. You should have done this instead. Guess what? You and I are not being paid to be behind the Habs bench to coach this team because we just don't have the hockey knowledge that man does, okay? I'll admit it. He's a much smarter man than I am and that you are, okay? Shut up. Shut up, okay? This guy got a team that finished 5th to last season, the year before that, and the year before that, they were last. He got them in the playoffs. He did. And I listened to the player interviews, right? Every single player says that. They all say, Marty taught us to believe in ourselves and to believe in this group. Coaching isn't just about matchups on the ice and line combinations and all that. It's here. It's here. It's this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Marty has preached to his congregation, right? Like he got into their heads. He got into their hearts. He made them believe. That is priceless. He is the guy for the job. I think he probably won't win. I think Spencer Carberry is going to win the award. But the fact that he was nominated, I hope, shuts up all the doubters. Okay? I'm sick of it, Drew. I am sick of it. Finally, this team has an actual coach, a long-term coach. We have our version of a John Cooper, let's say, right? We have him.
Just climbing that ladder.
Why the hell would you want to get rid of him? You people are insufferable. The Habs fan base is number one. There's no doubt about it. We proved it game 3 and 4 at the Bell Center. All right. Nothing comes close. But man, some of us can, some of you people watching, because I never doubted the guy, but some Habs fans do piss me off sometimes because just be grateful. For the love of God, be grateful. This season was a success through and through, right? And in large part, I give credit to Martin St. Louis. I've said my piece.
I love the passion, buddy. This is why we need to hear you more. So this is why we're going to try to do Shayne and Dekes on a regular basis next season, because we need to hear more of you, in my opinion. And it's not because, like, you're just the greatest Habs analyst of all time. You're one of us. You're one of the fans. And I think people relate and connect to a relatively level-headed perspective, even if in the moment in the playoffs we're like, oh, they're the worst player ever. I never want to see them play again. You know what I mean? Like, just the up and downs with Patrik Laine, and we'll talk about Laine in a second too. But man, when it comes to Marty and like early on in the season and all the questions about, okay, maybe like Stu was just saying on the show, like I watch the Sick podcast pretty faithfully, and you work on it pretty faithfully. But it's interesting because a lot of us think and see the same things. And I didn't think that Marty lost the room, but some of the like Stu Cowan was even saying, like, he thought maybe he did, but clearly he didn't. It was more just like it was taking time, it seems, from the outside for the players to really start to either understand the hybrid defensive system that Marty was trying to teach. But at some point in December, it came together, Shayne, and the Habs were beating every single good team there was to beat in the NHL. They went 13-2-1. So that was after Alex Carrier, Jakub Dobeš, and Patrik Laine came into the lineup, which really were the biggest difference makers in that run, having all those guys come in. So maybe we'll just start here with Laine, because I know that from what we just heard from him, he actually broke his thumb. So there was good reason for him not to be playing in the rest of the Washington series. He was actually physically injured, and clearly he was clapping very lightly in that post-game video after game 3 because his hand was actually broken, or finger was broken, or thumb, or one of them. So anyway, you get my point. I didn't watch the episode yet with Brian Wild about why or what to do with Patrik Laine next, but he's under contract for one more season. Mm-hmm. And for what he did, he basically did what Ivan Demidov did for us on a different scale at the beginning of the season before Laine got hurt. And when he came in and eventually started scoring, that was a big deal this season. Yeah. And we gave him a lot of love. And then quickly he became the player that everyone kind of knew he was on the other side, which is frustrating to watch at times. So what's your overall take on him as a player and maybe his future in Montreal?
Yeah, well, listen, I have to go check the stat to just to be saying the truth here, but I do believe he had 6 game-winning goals this season.
That's what I saw.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are 6 games that he is directly responsible for the Habs winning. The Habs got into the playoffs by 1 win. One win. Without Patrik Laine, the fact is this team's not in the playoffs. You can say what you will about his 5-on-5 game, and yes, it hasn't been good. We have eyes. We understand
the whole team, but him specifically, it
hasn't been good, right? So moving forward, right, we'll skip ahead here. I'm not quite sure what the best move is with him, but I fully trust Kent, Jeff, and Marty with how they want to handle Patty. But I really don't want to bash the guy because he actually did, he wore that CH with pride, right? He was happy, and he said it in his exit presser. He fell in love with hockey again, and it's in part because of the city, the team, the organization, the fans, and all that. He got that joy back. And listen, Patrik Laine is a special talent. Like, name me a player that can rip the puck like he can.
Actually, seeing it on a regular basis, was special. Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't think there is a player that can shoot it better than him. Like Ovechkin, maybe. Stamkos on a good night. Maybe Matthews.
Yeah.
That's it. like his shot is lethal. He is an expert in that department. Mm-hmm. Now, the rest can be worked on, and I still believe he has a place on this team next year. I'm not willing to just throw him out yet. However, the main thing for him was the power play, right? And now the first power play unit, sorry to say, looked a lot better with Ivan Demidov there instead of Patrik. Now, if he moves down to the second unit and can produce 5-on-5, right? You got to insulate him. You can't play him with Doc and Newhook. Like, let's be serious now. I'd like to see maybe Evans in the middle of line A and at a reduced role, right? Maybe on the third line, less minutes, easier matchups type of thing. But I think there is a way to get him back to that Winnipeg Patrik Laine, because he's what? He's 27. He's 27 years old. You can't tell me that he's washed and he's done and, he's not the same anymore. I remember a time when, Patrik Laine and Austin Matthews were even. Like, they were even, right? So he has that talent level. He just needs to find it again. I think he can, maybe not to Matthews level, but he can still be a factor and a contributor 5-on-5. I do believe that. However, his power play role has to be reduced next season. It's just a fact, unfortunately.
we relied on him too much, and then it became too predictable, and then the results stopped coming. So when you saw the fluidity after putting Ivan Demidov in, we'll just jump into him because we didn't even have him in the title. Somehow I didn't put this in here, even though I have 93 on boys and girls. I got to show this jersey one more time. It's just gorgeous. But this is only the second time I wore it because I only got to wear it once during the playoffs because it came a little bit late. So here it is.
Oh, wow.
Just had to show that off one more time. Okay, so but
nice.
but we almost immediately saw Ivan Demidov produce on the power play in the playoffs of all things too. But I love the movement. This is why I like Cole Caulfield when he first came in, because I watched him on Team USA in the World Juniors. What I loved about Caulfield was that he was like roaming around the zone, like circling around, looking to make a play. And that's what I think Demidov does and will do for this power play, because I just think that, again, like we all saw how static it was. We need to see it be more fluid and free flowing and creative, deceptive, which is two of the biggest assets of Demidov's game, is creativity and deception. Right. And then his shot is just going to get even better. This guy, like, I hope these guys all come back ready and strong and fit and physically in shape, including Patrik Laine. And also I hope his knee is better too, so he can maybe skate a little faster. I think is Laine's issue. Everyone complains about his foot speed and the predictability on the power play. So that to say, Shayne, that Ivan Demidov's early arrival in Montreal produced one of the best pictures of the season in Game 3 right here.
Wow.
That's Nick Suzuki's goal. And this is the same play right here. But what do you make of, the hype train that was Ivan Demidov at the end of the season? The Canadiens selling over $250,000 worth of Ivan Demidov jerseys within the first week. That I was not included in that because I got mine on sale. It's Adidas, and there's very few of these, so you're welcome. And I have a custom jersey guy. Email customjerseyguy@gmail.com. His name is Bobby. He's the best. But that to say, Shayne, what did you make of this guy coming in? Because I still have this picture from one of our old shows, buddy. Look at this thing. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
This was when it was a pipe dream. I thought we thought that we were going to get Demidov in the draft. It was a pipe dream that he was going to fall to 5. And then
it made no sense. It made no sense, Drew. We talked about this on this show. I said, look, these are the guys that are the Habs are most likely to draft. And I said, listen, there's always a chance for Demidov, but it's not going to happen, right? It did. It actually happened. And guess what? We got 4 teams now regretting passing on him. Actually, that's 3 teams. The fourth took him.
He might be better than Celebrini.
Listen,
I know it's gonna be hard.
Look, I'm a big Celebrini guy. I think he's fantastic, and he's gonna be a superstar for San Jose, right? But this guy, oh baby, I mean, I've been following him since a year before he was drafted, right? I knew this guy is different. He's at another level, right? He's in that Kaprizov discussion, and turns out same age, same league, he was better than Kaprizov. Okay, I'm not saying he's gonna be better than Kaprizov in the NHL. I'm saying that's the upside here. That's what we could be looking at, right? And you got to put context in here, right? The situation he's coming into, right? It's a young team. They're a fraternity, right? They're very close. They're a tight-knit group. The coaching staff, the opportunity that he's been given, right? He's already on the first power play. This player is going to thrive in Montreal. Mark my words. Next year, you're not ready. You're not ready. Put a good second line center with him. Hopefully, like a veteran presence, a guy that, can communicate well and maybe has won the cup already, can pass down that knowledge and kind of insulate him a little bit and allow him to be Ivan. You're not ready. I'm telling you, he is going to blow your socks off. And he already did it in game 1. A goal and an assist in his first NHL period. Come on. Listen, I've been hyping this player up, and I don't think I've been doing him justice, right? He's worth more hype. It's a special, special talent. And I cannot stress enough how important it is for the Canadiens to focus on his development. Every resource, all your attention on this player, because he will be a franchise superstar for 15 more years, right? His development is critical to the Habs ultimately becoming contenders. That's it. It is. So, yeah, second line center. I think we're going to be saying those words a lot this summer, Drew. Second line center. Until they finally get one, yeah, they need one.
Yeah, they do. We will get to that. And I was just going to say something, and I'm like, did I just lose it? Okay, yes, I have it. So I looked back at a couple of our old shows, and I heard you say something, the same thing twice about two players. You said that a certain player would be the next best Russian prospect since Alex Ovechkin. And you said it about Michkov first. Yeah. And then you said it about Demidov.
Am I wrong? Michkov had a pretty good season.
He did.
And look, I know where this is going, right? David Reinbacher, I'm still a fan of David Reinbacher, and I got to see him play live for the Laval Rocket. This guy dominated. Like, he's already too good for the AHL. Now you'll say, his leg, his knee, his leg, whatever. I don't think he's injury prone. It's a weird term. I think injury prone is more like back issues, like chronic injuries that come back.
Max Pacioretty is a good example of an injury prone player who's been injured a lot of his career.
His Achilles keeps giving out.
Body. Yeah,
exactly. So stop it with the David Reinbacher's injury prone. We're not going to do that, right? He's an excellent defenseman. I think he'll be a first pairing guy playing with Laine Hutson, eating up 25 minutes a game on the first PK, maybe even second power play. He's damn good.
He looked good on the point. I mean, I know I'm just talking about a couple highlights I saw.
Yeah.
But I think he's better off. He's offensively got more upside than we've given him credit for. That's kind of. Thanks.
We're going off on a tangent here. I just had to speak on David because I'm a big fan, but
still no regrets.
Circling back on Michkov, listen, he looked great on this team as well, and he's looked great with the Flyers, especially after Tortorella got fired. Coincidence? I don't know. It's for you to judge, but he'll have an amazing career, and I do think he is the best, Russian prospect. Right, maybe not Russian player, because you've got Kucherov and Panarin and Kaprizov that have come after Ovechkin. But as a prospect, he was at that time the best Russian prospect since Ovechkin, and the Demidov is now the best Russian prospect since, I guess, Michkov, but no, since Ovechkin, because he's better than Michkov.
There it is. Well, so do you think that the numbers have to reflect that? Like, I think we all expect it to, right? I mean, Brian Wild says it all the time. Demidov's going to be the first 100-point player since Mats Naslund. We hear that often from Brian as an example.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he's got to get 100 in his rookie season next year, but do you think it's obvious that he's got to get like more than Michkov to really quickly show that he's better than Michkov? And not that that's his goal, but for us as fans to say, okay, like we got the right Russian player.
Numbers tell the story, but they don't tell the full story, right?
Okay.
At the Sick podcast,
if he doesn't do it, will we be critiquing that? Because I think it's very, very, very possible with Laine Hutson on that power play, and we haven't even put him in a title yet. But anyway.
Look,
there's too much to talk about today, guys.
Yeah.
There's too much.
I'm not concerned whatsoever with this offensive production. It will come, right? But at the Sick podcast, we have a show called The Eye Test with Pierre Maguire and Jimmy Murphy. And that title is very important. The eye test means what your eyes see, not what the numbers tell you. You actually have to watch the games, right? Mm-hmm. How is Demidov impacting the game when he's away from the puck? How is Michkov impacting the game when he's away from the puck, right? It's these types of things that I think ultimately make Ivan Demidov a better player. those two are gonna be compared their entire careers, and it's fun. Like, it's all in good fun, right? The Russian debate and all that, right? It would have been better if they were in the same draft class. Like, okay, which one got picked earlier? But still, it's gonna be a fun debate to have for many more years. However, I think as a whole, Demidov takes this one. Michkov might put up more points depending on who he's playing with. Right now, I don't think he has those weapons in Philly. Granted, he did really well at the end of the season there, but Demidov is going to have those weapons from the start. And you mentioned the biggest one, Laine Hutson. Already getting Norris votes. Forget the Calder here. He got Norris votes. Like, he's not top 3. He got Norris votes in his rookie year. Just unbelievable stuff. And we're gonna get to see this. We're gonna get to see these two on the same power play together for the next 15 some years. I mean, come on. If you're not if you're Habs fans and you're not smiling right now, something's wrong with you.
I am.
Like, it's beautiful stuff. And yeah, those two together. And then you factor in Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Uri Slafkovsky. There's more to come.
Oh, I have a picture of all of them.
Exactly.
I know we've shown it a few times already, but this is all of them. And Slav is buried underneath Demidov's armpit or shoulder here in the middle. So
you could frame that, man. You could frame that picture.
It was the picture of Josh Anderson on the bench, which I didn't pull up, but it exists, of them all hugging Josh Anderson after an empty netter, like when they're trying to fight for the wild card spot.
Oh,
and then nice. That picture, those are two of the best images from the season. And Patrik Laine with his first goal, and Cole with the bigger smile, which I love this image. I mean, with Cole just being so like happier than Laine. Right?
In his first game, I remember I freaked out. That was against the Islanders. I remember that game vividly. I think it was the first power play too. This guy just ripped it. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, and then he scored the second most power play goals in the league this year. So that still counts. Anyway, we talked about that. I'm gonna try to keep us on topic, but so we did talk about boom, right back to center. So back to center, drop the puck. Another face off here. So Laine Hutson Calder nomination inevitable. But my gosh, you scrapped that and you're like, first of all, it's the Norris nominations that we should be talking about, because the fact that he even is going to get any is pretty amazing. So is it a 2-horse race between him and Celebrini, or do you think Michkov is going to, like, what do you really think is going to happen? Who's going to win the Calder here?
There's 4 really that have a case.
And I know that Calgary has a case too. Sorry.
Right. That's it. Dustin Wolf.
Yeah.
There's a few more guys, a few more rookies that had really remarkable seasons, but it's a four guy race, right? So Laine Hutson, Macklin Celebrini, Matvei Michkov, Dustin Wolf. Ultimately, I think the top 3 in order will be Laine Hutson, Celebrini, Wolf. Wolf had a really, really strong season in Calgary, and it's all the more impressive when a rookie goaltender steps in, takes the first, the first goalie role, if you will, and I mean, Calgary had a better season than the Habs. Let's not forget that. Like, they actually had more points. So what he did was,
and they didn't make it.
No, that's it. Hey, that's how the seeding goes. But
the West was stronger. Let's just tell the truth.
Pretty remarkable stuff. Like, Dustin Wolf deserves his flowers and then some, right? Macklin Celebrini coming in at 18 years old, taking in the first center role in San Jose. Sure, they sucked, but we expected them to. And honestly, it's better if they do suck, because they need Matthew Schaefer, right? But he really, I mean, he was fantastic. And had he not been injured, I think he would have finished with more points than Laine. But nonetheless, it's pretty remarkable stuff what he did there. And he's going to have a long and prosperous career. But how can you deny Laine Hutson the Calder? The amount of records this guy broke. He tied Larry Murphy's all-time rookie defenseman assist record. Number 1 in NHL history. Do I need to say more, right? And throughout the season, people were like, oh, look at his plus minus. He sucks defensively.
That got better too.
Most of those people never watched a single Habs game, right? Let me tell you just now. Because if you did, you'll see that not only did he drastically improve, because he was already pretty good defensively, he drastically improved. He was actually really good defensively. All right. Boxing out his stick. Sure, he wasn't nailing guys. He wasn't throwing the big hit. You don't need to do that to be a good defender, right? You need to prevent scoring chances, and he did just that. Okay. Now, in the playoffs, few mistakes, that's bound to happen. This guy's still a rookie. It's his first NHL playoffs. It's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But overall, I have not seen a rookie campaign from a defenseman like that in a very long time. I think Cale Makar, right? Cale Makar was unreal, but guess what? Laine Hutson was actually better. He was. So it's no contest for me. But granted, look at the hat I'm wearing. Look at my background. I shouldn't be talking. I don't have a vote. Okay.
Do we have enough Habs stuff between both backgrounds and the background itself? My background, the background for the video itself. Anyway, we're a little biased.
Anyways,
you're a Habs fan too. If you're
I know the guy. I know his dad. I know his brother. I know his family. They are phenomenal people. He absolutely deserves this award. And I think he will ultimately get it.
His dad appreciates you. I mean, it's Rob, right? Rob Hutson.
Rob, A1.
So
entire family, man, they're amazing people.
They're never going to forget you, man. You've been there since the very, very beginning, and even before the beginning, before he even got here. So
hey, we remember draft night, man. Me and Brando were
you guys
ecstatic.
Lost it.
Ecstatic. We knew right away. We're like,
I had no idea. You guys knew. So kudos to you guys. So I'll always remember that when you told me how excited you were about Laine Hutson and you jumped out of your chair. I'm like, whoa, you did what? Like you jumped out of your chair for who? And then it was like, oh, okay, you were right. You're right. Like, oh my gosh, Laine Hutson. God love you, son. I don't know why I called him son. I don't even know why I said that. It just came out. He's him. He's good. And that. You and I seeing him score a shootout goal in the Prospect Challenge last year, that's going in our intro for next year's show. Just throwing that in there. Okay.
Unreal.
We have to. Okay. So Habs needs next season. We're all already looking forward to training camp, and it's still actually it's May now. It is May. But Shayne, before we close the show out, we got to talk about this second line center thing. And maybe we'll touch on Kirby Dach and his future. I think it's important that he's still got another year on his deal. A bunch of guys have another year on their deal left. And I also, before we go, want to get to our goaltenders in a moment. We will, because Samuel Montembeault is here. We just found out that Sam tore his groin, actually. So that's so it was a much more serious injury than Logan Thompson. Let's just put it that way. And I'm glad that Logan's okay. So like for the folks that said I wish Logan Thompson would have got hurt. First of all, my last name is Thompson. Okay, we're practically family. So leave me alone. Okay, my real last name is not Dekes. It's Thompson. Okay, but anyways, I digress. So the Habs needs next season, Shayner, second line center. I know you got some names for us. So other than that, though, we could be losing other players. We know Armia is a free agent. We know Dvorak is a free agent. We know that Kirby Dach is not our second line center. So that's three pieces right there. David Savard's retired. So he's a defenseman. We'll focus on the forward group for now. So who do you got? Second line center. Do they make a trade at the draft? When is this going to happen? Is it going to be a free agent? What are your feelings and thoughts on the needs and how they are going to address them? Because the fans want to know, Shayne. They want to know.
Listen, this could be an entire show, and it probably will be. So I'm not going to spew everything yet. I'm going to lay the foundation. I'm going to lay the groundwork. And we're going to circle back to this at another moment here. But it's important we mention the players that are already on this team, right?
That's cool.
Alex Newell acted as the second line center for a big part of the season. I don't think he is a second line center. I don't think he is a center.
He's a good winger.
He will be on the wing next season. Kirby Dach has proven that he is not a center, but let's remind everyone, when did he have his best season? When he played on the wing with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. I'm not saying that's where he's going to be. I am saying, however, he is a winger. At a reduced role, right? I think he could do really well. I'm not giving up on Kirby Dach. I think it would be foolish to do so. Now,
I think
Christian
I
Dvorak,
think he deserves another chance. Yeah,
exactly. Christian Dvorak, and credit to him. Okay, he made me eat crow. He made all of us eat crow, I think, because listen, he didn't have a great first half of the season, let's just say. But shout out to your nephew because he got him going.
I'm telling you, man.
He got him going. Yeah. And Christian Dvorak had a phenomenal end of season. He deserves a lot of credit, and he was good in the playoffs. And I hope he goes and gets his money. Unfortunately, his money will not be in Montreal. Okay.
Don't tell my nephew. He doesn't want to see him go.
Yeah.
Because now
all
he
the
loves
power
him.
to him, all the love to him, and thank you for your service. But we'll be moving on. Okay.
All right.
Likewise with Yoel Armia, I think his time in Montreal has come to an end. He's been around for quite some time. Like he's been a Hab for a long time. People don't notice that, but he's done some
19, I think. Or 19 for sure.
He's
I think it's time.
Right. That's it. No, again, same thing, right? Go get your money. It won't be in Montreal, right?
I could be wrong on that. It feels like a 1 or 2 year deal. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I don't like the fact that he would take a young player's spot, right? There are young guys in Laval and outside that are pushing and they need those opportunities in order to develop. We know what we have with Yoel Armia, and he has done phenomenal work, and he deserves a lot of praise and credit, but he can do that work with another team so the Habs can allow one of those young players to actually come into the organization, play a full-time role, and develop.
I think it's Florian's spot take. You're probably going to get there. I'm sorry. I had to throw it in.
I'm not going to get to him today, but we are going to talk about it on another show.
But I think that the offense that he might be able to produce, which Armia was always up and down with the offense.
Yeah.
So if Florian can be good on the penalty kill, anyway. But you carry on. I always cut you off because I'm a jerk.
Listen, we're excited, man. I know
this is the most excited I've been after losing a series in my life.
It is the most exciting offseason since the start of the rebuild, bar none. All right, sure, maybe first overall pick, right? We were excited about that, and
that was a fun
whatnot.
One,
but
now we're starting to win.
This offseason, this is where the fun begins because Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton won't be trading away players. They'll be trading away draft picks and prospects to get players, and that is the fun part. That's the fun part, and they're going to be doing that. So, we're excited.
Yeah.
In terms of contracts, Emil Heineman, Jaden Struble, and Jakob Dobesch are the RFAs that have to be re-signed. Michael Pizzetta is also a UFA, so he'll likely be gone. I think he'll want an actual full-time opportunity somewhere else. And again, credit to him, the Pez man. He did some great work here in Montreal. Maybe they re-sign him. I'm not putting him out of the equation just yet, but I think it's unlikely.
I think it's time too. Yeah, for him, he deserves a chance. I think he for the passion and the effort.
Yeah,
he deserves to play more than he did, and we know why he didn't play. He wasn't the guy that was going to give us the best chance to win. But I'll always remember him riding the stick on that shootout winner. I saw it in person. I'll never forget it. Once again, my nephew and I got to enjoy that. But anyway, I digress. So Pizzetta gone. Continue on because I keep cutting you off because I'm still a jerk. Go ahead.
No, you're excited. There's a big difference here, and I'm excited as well.
Guys. Can you tell?
So now, from what I just said, I think there's two holes in the forward group, right? Will both of these be filled by trades or free agents? I don't think so. I think one of those holes will be filled internally with a young player. But the big one, the 2C, right? And we're going to be throwing out names all summer long until finally we get an answer, because there will be an answer. I do believe Kent Hughes will address this need. So let's start with free agents, right? And I think that's the only thing we're going to touch on today. We're going to leave the trades for another show. We got to keep the folks coming back in, right?
We do.
Because ultimately, I do think it'll be a trade that brings in that second line center. But it's worth exploring the UFAs that are available on the market. Sam Bennett is the first one we have to talk about, and that's the one that a lot of people are wanting. Realistically, I give that about a 5% chance of happening. Sorry to burst everyone's bubble. This guy's in Florida, right? It's nice. It's nice weather there all year long. They've got a good winning team, right? He's going to stay. Let's be honest now.
He's got to be happy there.
He's not going to leave. And if he does, I'm not willing to pay this player $9 million for 8 years, because if he goes on the open market, that's probably what he's going to get, right? That is way too much. And that's my fear with the UFA market, right? Drew, I mean, how many offseason signings do you remember that have panned out really well, right? I can think of Artemi Panarin. They got $10 million and deserves all $10 million. Sergei Bobrovsky got $10 million. Hey, he won them a cup. You know what I mean? That turned out pretty well. All the other big contracts that have been handed out on July 1st usually turn out to be overpayments. Sam Bennett had, I think, 51 points this season. That's the same amount as Juraj Slafkovsky. Are you going to pay him $9 million a year just because he's a physical presence? No. Right? I'd love to have Sam Bennett on my team. Absolutely. Sign me up today, right? But not for $9 million a year. I don't know what his contract's going to look like. I'm just telling you guys, probably not going to happen.
3 or 4, I'm interested. But
yeah, he's going to want long term. If he goes on the open market, he's going to get paid. He wants his money. But ultimately, I think he actually stays in Florida. Other options. There are 2 within the Dallas Stars, Matt Duchene and Michael Granlund. Let's start with Duchene first. Duchene, for most people who might not know, he came this close to being a Montreal Canadien before signing with the Nashville Predators. He said so himself. He actually came to visit the city. Like, he was this close to signing. He really considered it. So there is a link here. There is a connection.
I didn't think he was that close, but you tell me.
He ultimately chose the Nashville Predators, but I think he still has like a Yuppie plush toy for his son or something. It's serious. Like, he was really close to signing here when the Habs weren't that good, right? So imagine now that they are good, and he's not going to command a long-term contract. I believe he's 34 years old, right? So on the tail end of his career, and he's still a really, really good player. However, similar to Sam Bennett, I don't think he leaves. I think he's happy in Dallas. I think he wants to. I would think he wants to finish his career there. He's had his best seasons in Dallas, and they're a Stanley Cup contender pretty much every year. So, again, the odds of Matt Duchene becoming a Montreal Canadien, would I take him? Absolutely, sign me up. But unlikely. I'd say it's more likely than Bennett, but still fairly unlikely.
I think it's a bit past that time where we could have looked to bring him in. I think, but go ahead.
Yeah. If we bring him in, he'd be a stopgap for Michael Hage. And I think that is ultimately the best move for the Habs to make, because I am a big believer in Michael Hage. Sure, if you can get a younger, long-term, highly talented second line center, do it by all means, right? But I think realistically speaking, it'll most likely be a veteran who can, be that role model. And again, we circle back to Ivan Demidov. He's got to be the main focus here. You have to find a center for him, not just a second line center, a center for Demidov, because he is the most important piece to the Habs becoming contenders ultimately. So Duchene, I think, could be a really good complement to Demidov, but I doubt that he'd want to leave Dallas. So that's my concern with him. Mm-hmm. Granlund, I think, is an option, and I really liked him in the Four Nations for Finland. I thought he was excellent. Very underrated player. I don't know that he will be the number one option for the Habs, right, in this scenario, but he is still worth being considered. And again, he's a veteran. He's had some great seasons this year. He's had really good season, actually. Very talented player, but again, I think it'll be a trade scenario for the Habs where they bring in the second line center. And the last name I'll give to you, and we can wrap this one up after that. Let's just have fun, right? Jonathan Toews. Why not?
Oh,
why
what
not?
What about
Jonathan Toews, baby? Listen, this guy's 37. Okay, I don't know how much hockey he has left.
It's a fun one. It's a fun one.
The poor guy was stuck with long-term COVID. Like he almost had to medically retire.
Is that what he had?
Yeah. He suffered from long-term COVID. He went to like India to get random like experimental treatments. Anyways, point is, apparently he is on the verge of a comeback. He would like to come back in the NHL. He would like to play again. And listen, this player, I mean, in his prime, we know what he could do, right? Number 1 center for a Stanley Cup champion, Chicago Blackhawks. It wouldn't be that expensive, Drew. You wouldn't be that expensive. So just putting it out there, having fun. It's not going to happen. If he plays, he's going to go to Winnipeg because that's where he's from. But
well,
just saying.
I think the odds might be better that we get Taves than Crosby.
Oh, stop it with that. Stop it with that. We're not even.
You weren't even going to bring it up, were you?
Drew, we're not even going to do that. Okay, stop.
My buddy wants him so bad.
Of course, it's Sidney Crosby. Who doesn't want him?
Did the Four Nations Bell Center ovation sway him even 0.5%?
0. That man is a Pittsburgh Penguin until he retires. I really, unless Kyle Dubas is like, I don't know, he is just purely evil. At that point, it's not even being a bad GM; it's just evil, right? Then he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere.
And people say about like Tony was talking about, Mike Sullivan being the coach he was closest with, and that's fair. I believe it, but people like are saying, maybe even Jimmy Murphy and some others are saying, well, they don't know what his future is in Pittsburgh and whatnot, because they like to Sid, would they want to play the next 2 years without a chance to make the playoffs? But Sid was also really mad when Jake Gensel got traded, right?
Yeah,
he's mad now. Doesn't mean he's gonna stop being loyal. So who knows?
Kyle Dubas has brought this team to the dumpster. I think he's done a terrible job in Pittsburgh. Horrible. Okay, I'm not going to mince words here. Sorry, Pens fans, but he's not been good, right? But I don't think that's enough for Sid to say, okay, trade me, right? Because at the end of the day, he's going to be the one deciding whether or not he gets traded. You don't trade Sid. Sid trades himself, okay? So, Habs fans, I'm very sorry to burst your bubble. It's not happening.
That'd be nuts.
It'd be nuts. Not happening.
Crosby and Demidov.
Come on. Like that's. Oh,
you can dream, Shane. We didn't think we were getting Demidov. Of course. We didn't think we were getting Laine. Anyway, I'm just messing with it. I'm having fun. Now I'm having fun. Yeah, I got to jump into this because our show is is long as usual because we have so much to talk about and we're not even like halfway done. Habs draft lottery scenario. Shayne, can you fire through these really quick and just kind of let folks know what the possibilities are on Monday?
Correct. So the Habs are actually in the lottery thanks to the Calgary Flames and Kent Hughes making the best trade I have ever seen. A first-round pick and Sean Monahan for nothing. Thank you, Calgary. Anyways, as it stands, the Habs are picking 16th and 17th. But the 16th pick is in the lottery. However, with the new rules, you can't go up more than 10 spots. So that pick could only go up to pick number 6. If that pick wins the lottery, it goes back to Calgary, and the Habs in return get Florida's pick in this year's draft. So that's how it would work.
Which would be a lower pick.
It would be lower pick. So essentially, for Habs fans, on Monday night, you want the Habs card to come out first. You want the 16th pick. Okay. You do not want to win the lottery in this scenario. It's weird to say, but it's true. You don't want it. So 16, 17, let's hope it stays that way.
So if they won it, like you're saying, if they picked, like, what's the highest the Habs could, like, they could technically still win the lottery on a very, very, very low percentage chance.
So
but Habs, if they did, they will forfeit that pick.
Exactly. The Habs themselves could not pick any higher than 16th.
Okay.
Because if Calgary wins the lottery, they get their pick back essentially, and the Habs, because it's top 10 protected. Right. So the Habs then get Florida's pick. Yeah.
Got it. Mm-hmm. Fan-tiddly-tastic. Okay, so I don't even know if we talked about everything, but let's briefly touch before we go on the Laval Rocket because the Habs are technically not fully out of the playoffs still, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at it from a future perspective, future Montreal Canadiens are on this Laval Rocket team, and they are in the playoffs right now as we speak. They're 2-0, and they are about to continue their playoff run. And they are first. They finished first in the AHL. Am I wrong?
First in the AHL, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So that is super encouraging. And Jacob Fowler's here. Logan Mailloux, who may come up and make the team next year. Mm-hmm. David Reinbacher, Adam Engstrom, Joshua Waugh. We got Sean Farrell lighting it up. Who else am I missing here? Owen Beck, right? Like we got players. We got players here, man. So what do you want to say about the Rocket in this run? How crucial is it to these young future Habs prospects or current prospects? You get what I'm saying.
Huge. Carey Price won the Calder Trophy. Well, the Calder Cup in this case. The Calder Trophy is for best rookie. Calder Cup is for the AHL. They
had to name it the same thing.
Right. Anyways, they should rename it the Laine Hutson Trophy, but that's just my thing. Regardless, it is huge for this young core to go to find success, right? Because Carey Price, remember, won the Calder Cup in his first year. And I'm not saying that's why he had the career he had, right? But it didn't hurt. You know what I mean?
It hurt his confidence.
Having that experience, having that, knowing how to win, right? It's not just as simple as going out on the ice and trying to put the puck in the back of the net. Players learn how to win, right? These young players, the future of this Montreal Canadiens team, for them to learn how to win like that under great mentorship and coaching from Pascal Vincent, who was named the AHL Coach of the Year. There was no 3 nominees. It was just one, and it was him. Okay.
That's huge.
So to have this kind of season for them, monumental. For Jacob Fowler to step in the playoffs with 3 games experience in the regular season, go 2-0 with a shutout. He's the truth, man. He's the guy.
Someone's already going to have to take someone's going to have to take him out of the net now, and you might not. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't even know if you put Primo next game. Primo got sent back.
How can you?
I don't think you can. You ride Fowler.
He was near perfect in the first 2 playoff games.
He's burning hot right now. Like he is the truth. He's him. So yeah. Laval Rocket, baby. I'm tuned in. I can't wait. Game 3, I think, is tomorrow.
Yes. It's at home.
They played yesterday. Yeah.
So or no. Is it at home tomorrow?
I'm
confused by
so
what I saw.
Actually, funny thing here. Yeah, funny thing here. Let me explain this. I learned about this week. Since the Laval Rocket finished first in the AHL, they could decide whether or not they wanted to start the series at home, play 2 games at home, and then go play the next 3 away, or the opposite. Play the first 2 games away, next 3 at home.
That's sweet.
The Laval Rocket actually decided to start the series in Cleveland and finish it off in Laval. And they have a chance to sweep tomorrow night. I'm pumped. Or actually, it might be in the afternoon.
It might be in the afternoon. But that's
tomorrow.
That's a pretty cool NFL rule to use, the old kickoff rule, right? Like where you win the coin toss, basically. So they win the coin toss by winning the first place in the AHL.
Tomorrow at 3 p.m. in Laval.
There it is.
Yep.
Well, we'll leave it at that because we have so much more we could say about the Canadiens de Montréal and the 2024-2025 season expectations being exceeded by this team led by Jack Adams finalist Marty St. Louis.
He's the man.
Because of that rant you went on earlier, I thought I'd throw it back up again. So I did. But hats off to these Canadians. Hats off to you guys. Like it is work to do these shows, but you guys make it so much easier by showing up the way you have for Shayne and I. From Habs Tonight to now, we talk about our Habs Tonight days often. We just did for like 10 minutes before we started here, and we have tried to keep our show going. I know you guys want to see more from us. Our plan, our goal is to do that this fall with Shayne and Dekes podcast. That is the plan. So thank you all so much for tuning in this season. Whenever Shayne and I were able to jump on the few times that we did, but this was a particularly fun episode. Shayne, the future is getting brighter by the day, and it's about to get even brighter by the next several days. Anyway,
fire me up, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
I'm ready.
So, thank you all so much. We'll see you on the next one. Stay tuned because there's more episodes from Shayne and I coming this month. Stay tuned. We've got more coming. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Thank you all.